He was a gifted athlete from a young age. Set sprinting records in secondary school. Dominated almost any field or court he set a massive foot on. At age 18, he follows his cousin into the boxing gym. After the first session, Anthony Joshua was hooked. A physical specimen at 6'5", 240 pounds, and a sponge for the lessons of the ring, Anthony Joshua quickly makes a splash on the international scene. With just 3 years training, he makes the British Olympic team and fights in front of his home crowd to win a gold medal in the London Games of 2012. With prodigy written all over him, Anthony Joshua makes his professional debut. As always, click that like button and subscribe to stay up to the minute on all sweet science. Rather than a soft touch, he takes on the 8-0 Emmanuel Leo in a 6-rounder, rather than the traditional 4 for his first pro fight. Not that he would need more than a round anyway. Anthony Joshua showed a brilliantly organized offensive attack. His long reach and massive power put a quick and brutal stop to it. He kept incredibly active, fighting and winning 7 times in 2014 with 7 vicious knockouts. In fact, none of his first 14 fights left the 3rd round.
You know, there's no rush, and I'm going to keep on building and building and building until I make my mark in this heavyweight division.
Then came the 15th and an old nemesis. Dillian Whyte was a former kickboxing champion who made the jump to boxing.
If somebody leave the room and me and you staying here now, I would walk out. And you won't.
That's why I see you're a talker.
Do you want to do it now?
Talk too much.
He was one of the very few people to get the better of AJ in the amateurs. So when they meet a second time in the pro ranks, it was a meeting of 2 of the best British prospects. Both undefeated. Between them, only 3 opponents had made the final bell. When AJ turns up the heat early, he starts sticking out his tongue after every heavy straight right. It boils over at the end of the round, with Dillian taking some swings after the bell as a mini riot unfolds in the ring. When they got back to it, it would be Dillian who landed large. His signature left hook was perfectly timed as Joshua dropped his right. Both swung wildly, with Whyte landing his left to the body and AJ with sneaky uppercuts between the long 1-2s. It was exactly the type of ugly slugfest fans long for from their heavyweight prospects. It ended with Anthony Joshua rocking Dillian badly before uppercutting his jaw into the rafters of the O2 Arena.
There's a grin from Whyte, but the legs are betraying him, and down he goes. Surely no way up here for Dillian Whyte.
Joshua's growing reputation for wars only grows his fan base faster. He wins his first title with ease in a 2-round destruction of a plainly outmatched Charles Martin.
Martin looking a little bit wary here. Just got for the left. Got him! Right hand on the floor. Martin looks into his on the floor, and there's still a minute 40 left in this second round. And he's down again. And Joshua on the brink here strolls into the corner as if to say, over, done. Britain has a new world heavyweight champion.
There were big rumblings elsewhere in the heavyweight division, a division ruled over for a decade by the venerable brothers Klitschko. But when Tyson Fury pulled off the upset to soundly decision Vladimir, the heavyweight division had finally slipped from the grip of Dr. Steelhammer. Tyson Fury falls apart mentally, and Anthony Joshua saw his moment to shine. With 2 of Fury's vacant titles on the line, Anthony Joshua finally meets the monster. Vladimir Klitschko was the most feared heavyweight of the last decade for good reason.
And you believe you will become a 3-time champion and regain your belts on this stage?
You're not listening to my English. I'm obsessed with that.
He stood at the crossroads of his career as Anthony Joshua walked to the ring with his initials and 12 feet of fire. A small city of fans in Emblem Stadium echoing 7 Nation Army provided the audio backdrop for the heavyweight fight of the decade. It becomes clear as the rounds pass, the experience gap was massive. Vladimir had been fighting for over 2 decades. Joshua, all told, about 6 or 7. Vlad was able to outbox the younger man to land massive rights on the outside. By round 5, Joshua decided he'd had enough of that and bravely chose to get into a war. Vlad wilts under the assault for a knockdown. Vladimir quickly adjusted to the new pace, turning the tables with a vicious right hand in the next round. How he got up is anyone's guess. That right hand ruled a generation of heavyweights. A champion is a man who stands up when he can't. Joshua took a beating and battled back. The punch that always saved him bails him out again. In the 11th, he lands a beautiful combination to finally write the last chapter in the legendary career of Vladimir Klitschko, who proudly went outstanding. AJ's next fight was supposed to be with slugger Jarrell Miller. 2 weeks out of the fight, he tests positive from most of a research laboratory. Rather than spoil the event, AJ takes last-minute replacement Andy Ruiz. Joshua was a 40-1 favorite. While Ruiz showed some skills, it seemed like Joshua was taking over.
Championship fight. This is a big stage right hand from Joshua. That could really train a man, and a hook lands as well.
In the 3rd round, AJ lands the exact same combination that dropped Klitschko to once again drop Ruiz.
Wow, that was fast from
Joshua went hunting for an early finish. Unlike Klitschko, Ruiz wasn't actually hurt. He times Joshua and nails him with a left hook he never saw coming. According to Joshua, this was his last memory of the night. Andy Ruiz poured it on and pulled one of the biggest upsets since Tyson versus Buster Douglas.
exchange punches with the man with the faster hands, and that's why Anthony Joshua got in trouble right there. Joshua looks so tired. I think he wants out.
AJ, however, demanded a rematch.
You have an immediate rematch clause. Do you expect to exercise that?
100%.
While Ruiz was doing the talk show circuit and getting sponsored by Snickers, AJ was taking stock of himself and his opponent. He realized Ruiz could take his best shots. He'd have to outbox him the second time around.
That's another hard right hand, and that opens up the cut. And not forget the grind, but
More than committing this to mind, he put it into practice with his body, losing muscle, but gaining improved speed and mobility. While the always chubby Ruiz came in on fight night chubbier than ever, AJ proceeds to jab his head off for all 12 rounds, sticking to his plan like a disciplined champion should. His most recent blowout over respected veteran Kubrat Pulev only cements Anthony Joshua's claim to the heavyweight crown.
But I'm a smasher. I have to, right? That's the mindset. I'm a warrior. That's a warrior mindset now.
close the show. This is impressive. This is the destroyer that we saw through his first 20 fights. Pulev is hurt. Pulev on the ropes again. Turns away. Does he want any more? The uppercut. Pulev down on his back. Second knockdown of the round. Joshua to finish. Third knockdown of the fight for Anthony Joshua. Right hand, and down goes Pulev, and that's it. Joshua has an emphatic knockout win. The champ is back and back in style.
Problem is, the man forced to abdicate was never really beaten.
Look, bro, I started this game in 2013. I've been chasing all the belts. I've been dealing with mandatories. Of course I want to challenge. It's not about the opponent, it's about the legacy and the belt. Whoever's got the belt, I'd love to compete with them. If that is Tyson Fury, let it be Tyson Fury.
What a time for us, what a time for the country, what a time for the sport. And you know, whether you're an AJ fan or a Fury fan or both, understand this. Right now, the heavyweight division is owned by Great Britain.
With Tyson Fury back on his game, Joshua can prove himself heavyweight king of his time. All he has to do is beat a Gypsy King to prove it.